So God blessed us in an indescribable way. Like only God could do this. And this is not like a flex. This is like number one, real life and a God given testimony. That's all I can say about it. You really gotta obey if you really want to be a servant. So diving a few years ago, I just got to give y'all context, right? So when I met my best friend, it was in New Jersey, and we were both living very worldly lives, and we didn't know Christ, all that stuff. We was both in relationships that obviously was testing us. So the funny thing is how I met her is we had like a mutual friend from work, and this mutual friend was close to her and then close to me separately. And the crazy thing is, one time we all got together because she was like, "Oh, you need to meet my best friend. I mean, my friend." She said, "Best friend." You need to meet my friend. Her name's Brianna, also, and I think you'll really like her. Now, my thing is, I don't like meeting new people. I just be like a little weary because of things that I've gone through in my past. Like, I'm just like, I don't know if I really want to, do that or whatever. But she was like, she insisted. She was like, "No, you need to go. Like, you need to meet her." So I think the first meeting was either at her house or my house. I can't really remember. But, we had a good time. We all started hanging out together, maybe like 2 or 3 times after that, all together. And they would come over my house. And there's one particular time, because I'm going to fast forward, the mutual friend, I literally catch her stealing in my house one of my makeup jars, and this is like a Juvia, so it's like foundation, so it's like, all right, it's not that expensive, but you could have just asked me. Like, it wasn't that serious. It wasn't even my shade anyway. Like, one thing about me, like, my skin, it changes all the time. As I can see, 1 minute my skin be clear, next minute it could be just looking crazy. Or my complexion, I could be really darker than prior, and then I could be really light. It just changes. So it was no big deal. You could have just asked me for it. Like, I would have gave it to you. Crazy part is I hit up Bree because obviously we're the mutual friends, and I was like, "Yo, tell me how like this happened." She was like, "Oh my gosh, she's supposed to be coming to my house the next day." But I was like, "I'm just gonna confront her," and I do like confrontation because I do like to communicate. Because I'm like, no, I need to figure it out. Well, prior, no, still there, because I need to know. I need to know what's going on. Like, I can't just leave that unsaid. Like, I seen you steal something at my house and leave, and you think I'm not going to say nothing. Like, that's ridiculous. But so I was like, all right, bet, I'm coming over your house tomorrow. Don't tell her. So I pulled up at the house, and I think I came in first. No, she was there first. And it was basically like, okay, so I came in first. No, she came in. She was there, and I came in. I was like, "Hey, girl, hey, whatever." And I'm sitting on the couch, and I just was like, I tried not to dive right into it, but I had to dive right into it. I was like, "Y'all think I'm a good friend?" They was like, "Yeah." Specifically her. I'm like, she's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Okay. Have I ever did anything wrong to y'all? Like, is there anything y'all just don't like about me, or you don't have to say something about me or whatever?" And I was like, "No, why you ask me that?" So mind you, Brie already know why I'm asking that, but the girl didn't. So I'm like, I just find it funny how, when a girl start like that, it's about to be something. So I was like, oh, I just find it funny how you stole something from my house, and I'm trying to figure out, like, why did you do that? Like, basically, the first thing she did was say, "Oh, well, I can send you the money through Cash App. Like, I can just send it back to you." And immediately my head was just like, that's not the point. The point is you still like you still stole from my house. So not only are you confessing it, but now you're trying to pay me back. Like, girl, I don't want that money. So long story short, we basically found out she was lunatic because I didn't even go off. I just asked that question and everything else was history. She was basically just down spiraling herself, and she even like did some weird stuff where she went into her kitchen and literally had a knife. I don't know what she was doing with this knife. Because, well, like I said, I was like, once I confronted her, she did all that and she still tried to put excuses about it, I just left. I was like, listen, Marie, I'm going to exit out your house because I don't do none of that. I just wanted to understand what happened. And as I'm sitting in my car, I see her running out the house, and Brie calls me and she's like, girl, you don't know what just happened. Like, she was just in the kitchen just spazzing. She had a knife. I don't know what she was going to do with that knife. And it was so weird. She was like, I had to tell her to leave because I have my child here, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah. So that's kind of how me and Brie became like closer than before. So fast forward to us being in relationships. We were already in relationships. We was literally sitting in the car, I'll kid you not. We was smoking, whatever we was doing. And we literally was like talking about like what we wanted to do, what we wanted to do next, where we seen our lives going or whatever. Because of these relationships, like it was just was not it. We just kept feeling the same feeling, like, we want to leave Jersey. So we was both talking about it, and she was like, yeah, my sister lives in Georgia. That's really where I want to go. And in my heart, I've only been to Georgia one time. And ever since I went to Georgia near Sandy Springs with another bestie of mine who's actually considered my sister, at the time we had went and we visited, hold on real quick. Dang, I had the feds call right now, but okay. We had traveled to Georgia and I visited Sandy Springs. And when I say loved it, I love Georgia from there. And I was like, oh, I want to move here. I like loves being here or whatever. And we only stayed like maybe a week or less than that, but it was just the atmosphere. It was the atmosphere. So when we was talking, me and Brie talking about it in the car, I was like, yeah, I always want to go back to Georgia. I don't have any family down there or whatever, but I do like know how it is because I did visit that one time and I really loved it, really enjoyed it. So we both was in a car and we just started praying. We was like, well, God, like we ask you to just like allow us to be closer to each other and be able to, always have this friendship. And God, we also just like, we pray that somehow we get to Georgia. Didn't know we was really praying for something that was actually going to happen, right? So let's fast forward to okay, what happened? So after we was praying and everything, okay, so our situations became crazy. She had a situation, I had a situation. We had to leave. So I was like, Bria, I'm like relocating. I'm going to North Carolina. This is when I was going to my North Carolina phase. So I'm like, I'm going to North Carolina. I love you, but I gotta go. I can't be here no more. That's just when I kept hearing God call me to just move. And we said our byes and, stuff like that. But we always kept in contact with each other. And kid you not, like maybe a couple months down the line, not even, not to be putting her business out like that because she could say this herself. But basically a situation happened where she was able to kind of move in with my god sister. And so it was so fun because I was like, oh my God, my best friend with my god sister, they're right next to me. I'm gonna be so happy, like I can see her more often. So that's how that worked out, where she was able to come to North Carolina. Now fast forward in North Carolina, there was, obviously some issues with my apartment. Basically what happened was my apartment vanity started leaking in the bathroom. So when I called maintenance, I'm like, hey, there's a leak. Can you all come fix it? The guy comes in here and he was like, all right, you need a whole new vanity. So he takes out the vanity. He's like, listen, I'm going to run to the store, go grab you a vanity, and I'm going to come back. In the midst of him doing that, I'm looking at my vanity, and not only is it soaked because it's soaked wood, but I see molds. And I'm like, okay, it wasn't wet that long. Like, as we used to have like plumbing issues for the building upstairs, those one or two times that I have noticed that the water had came into my bathroom, but it wasn't like I never called them to check it. It wasn't like, it was just kind of more recent, happened back to back or whatever. So I'm like, all right, cool, I'm gonna get the vanity. But I'm looking and I'm like, I look like mold. So he comes back and he's like about to put the vanity back in. I said, whoa, what you doing? I said, hold on. I said, that looks like mold. Can you, figure that out first? He's like, oh, we'll have to test it. Mold doesn't look like mold. Like, they try to downplay me, try to make it seem like I don't know what mold is. I'm grown. I know what mold is. Um, so I basically got his boss, because I went to the boss and I was like, listen, y'all need to do this, because if it is mold, like, that's not healthy. Like, y'all need to do more than just fix it to replace the vanity. So they ended up coming in and basically taking everything out and finding a bunch of mold on that behind the toilet. And this looks like years worth of mold. Like, I wonder if that was the reason why I got sick sometimes in my house, but neither here or there. So I'm like, all right, well, hold on. Y'all need to do something about this. They're sitting here trying to downplay it, like, oh, well, we will have to bring somebody in to come and test it and this and the third. Like, anybody with eyes can see that's mold. Anybody. So I'm going off. I'm going off about it. So, mind you, I gave my life to Christ, so I'm not like cursing or anything. I'm just going off about it because y'all trying to like hide things or whatever. Long story short, guys, and I know y'all not gonna believe me when I say this, I literally am gonna insert pictures. That's what I'm gonna do. I literally had 2 bedroom, 1 bathroom. When they dug everything up, they took everything out. Toilet was out, vanity was out, the sink was out. Well, that is the vanity. That everything was out. They literally changed companies at the same time that this was happening and literally left my bathroom like that. It wasn't for Jesus that, like I said, our situation started changing once we was in North Carolina, and she no longer lived with my god sister, and she got her own place. She had just moved into her own place when this happened with my bathroom. So thank you, God. And I didn't have my kid. He went for the summer to his dad. So thank you, Jesus. Like, I was like, girl, I gotta stay with you for a few days. Of course, like, I'm staying. So I kid y'all not, it was kind of annoying, but because my son wasn't there, it was like, all right, I'm gonna be with my best friend. Now we get to live together. Well, we get to stay with each other. So I'm like, all right, cool. I dealt with them, the apartment. It was hectic. It was disgusting. They tried to like not care about it. I had to go, like, I have so many documentation, so much, because I was gonna take them to court, but I couldn't find a darn lawyer in North Carolina that takes that place. Like, no city. That's why I like North Carolina. But anyway, so I got all my money. So when they got the new company tried to act a little slick, but no, I got all my money back from the old company. They cut me a check. Yeah. So I got that figured out. So now I'm like, okay, well, school's right around the corner. I'm gonna try to get me a new apartment before school starts, so I can go get Cam, and then we can come and move into a new apartment. Boom. That was my plan. Right? Remember I said that. So, I found an apartment. I went to go see it, looked in it, looked through it. I was like, oh, I love this apartment. It even had a garden tub. It was so cute. Like, one side would be it basically looked like a little mini apartment, my whole side. Then you come in the middle, it's the shared common areas, and then you go to the other side and it's basically my son's whole side. It was so cute. But yeah, I basically explained to them the situation I just had with the other apartment. So I'm like, listen, I don't want no mess. Okay, I don't want no mess. And I was very clear. And you know what happens? First of all, I was trying to move in, and it was Labor Day. So mind you, the kids start school in North Carolina, I think after Labor Day or something like that, whatever. So I'm like, that's fine. We can stay in your place until my place is ready. We went in there. I'm like, hey, it's a smell in the stove. I'm not really feeling it. They were like, oh, maybe it's just cleaning products. I'm like, don't smell like a cleaning product. Because cleaning product, the smell would have went away. It's more so a gas smell. Why am I telling y'all how to do y'all job? That's another reason why I didn't like North Carolina. Like, what is we doing? So, neither here or there, right? So, okay, cool. I went ahead and he was like, I'll work on it, but it's Labor Day weekend. You just got to give me a few extra days. Cool. I'll give you that. So after Labor Day weekend, I think I waited like a week. Mind you, the kids started school already. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I had moved a couple of things in the apartment now. So like, Now I just want to go make sure they did everything, and I went and they didn't. Right. So okay. I started looking around, and I came into the living room. I kid y'all not. I kid y'all not. Roach Central. There was a big roach, a medium roach, a small roach, an in between roach, a neutral gender roach. There was just roaches. Roach, roach, roach. I was livid. I think I just kind of blew up.
You tripping, bro. You tripping.
And I think I almost wanted to just break down and cry because what is we doing? But like I said, it was my plan. My plan was that why I go to the office because oh wow, y'all about to hear my mouth. I go to the office. Crazy thing is they didn't want to take no responsibility for anything. Number one, oh well, I just came off of the Labor Day weekend. Okay, I'm glad y'all had a great Labor Day weekend, but I didn't. I couldn't even move into my apartment. I gave you all this money and I can't even move in now because there's roaches. And you trying to tell me I can't sit there and get out of this lease? Are you dumb? Okay. So she's like, why don't we just, calm down, have a meeting about this like the next day or whatever. So I'm like, okay. I'm thinking, okay, she about to bring somebody in a little bit higher than her so we can figure this out because I'm getting out this lease. Watch me. I'm getting out this lease. Let me tell y'all, I get to this little meeting and she's the property manager, mind you. I had the regular supervisor and then the maintenance supervisor. So we all get in a circle and it's this big black man. And he's basically looking like, why am I here? I'm looking at him like, why you here? I don't know why you're here either. So she starts talking and she basically blames everything on this maintenance guy. Well, why wasn't it done? As far as the stove, this and the third. And I'm just looking at this woman like, and mind you, I'm having all eye contact on her. I'm not even looking at him. I didn't even care one bit that he was there. Because at the end of the day, I don't even care about the stove. It was a bunch of roaches and it's disgusting. I don't think that's maintenance thing. And then she had said something that was like, oh, well, we spray all of our apartments before move-ins. That's a problem to me. Because that means that y'all know it's a problem. So y'all try to spray something to cover it up. I ain't like that. So all eye contact was on her. And whatever I really said to her, and I do remember saying, I don't know why you're bringing him into it because it don't have nothing to do it. And I let her have it. I let her have it so much that she quit the next day. I kid y'all not. She quit and left the job the next day. But guess what? I got my money back. I got my deposit back. I got my security deposit back, and I think I paid security deposit in the first month's rent, and I got it all back, and I got off that contract because y'all think it's crazy. No, I'm from Jersey. We gonna get it done, okay? But then I was like, oh, best friend, you okay with me staying with you? And she's like, girl, yeah, we'll make it work. So we made it work in a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartment with our boys. And honestly, it was a really great time. We raising our kids. We're best friends raising our boys together. They are hilarious. God had made a way for us to not only just receive certain resources to help us while we was in North Carolina as well. We didn't, because my nephew, my best friend is now considered my sister, right? So my nephew, he's autistic on the spectrum. I don't like really saying autistic because, God makes us all equally and he okay, my phone died. Anyway, nothing but the enemy, right? But yeah, so I don't like saying that kids have certain special needs, even though they just put a label on it. God made everybody the way he was supposed to. And a lot of times he wants to show his glory through the person that he is working on, the underdog, the person that somebody doesn't think that, God can use. So once we started, actually putting oil over him, anointed oil, and praying over him, he started talking because he was nonverbal. I always have faith. That's my baby. He ain't autistic. He just special. He's just a ball of sunshine. But yeah, so it was a great time. So now the lease is starting to come to a close, right? So, you know, I don't know why in our heads we still like, well, what should we do? Where should we go from here? Um, we actually started praying about it because we're like, we really still wanted to move to Georgia. Should we take this move? And now we're just talking out our necks. Like, we're like, can we really do that? We just moved to North Carolina. She just got there. I was there for about from 2021 and it was 2023 going on 2024. So I've been there for a little bit of time, but she just got to North Carolina. So I'm like, should we just move in with each other? Or should we just get our own space? Now, mind you, we praying about this. We're talking about this. And for like good weeks, for a couple weeks. And it just kept crossing our mind. And we're just like, Now, granted, this is when my dad, the one that I told y'all the previous videos that I went to move to North Carolina in Spring Lake. He's still there and he gets sick, right? But I'm not talking like just, oh, yeah, a little sick. This man got sick, okay? He experienced a infection. They had to cut him open. He ended up having a colostomy bag. He has a large wound from where they cut him open that they dug out of him twice. So he has a large wound. He already had diabetes. He also had leukemia at the time it was in remission, right? However, he has leukemia. It was out of remission and hypertension, blood pressure was high. He had hypertension. I think that's the same thing. Congestive heart failure. He had his AFib, his valve replaced in his heart just not too long ago. Prior to that, mind you, he just got his toe amputated because of diabetes in his foot. So he was going through a lot. Okay. Like when that whole sick thing came, I promise to y'all, we prayed and prayed and prayed because they was like, yeah, mind you, we all having Thanksgiving together, and literally the next day his sugar is like 500 and he's like, I can't even explain. He was going sepsis, basically. He was sepsis. I hope I said that right. Septic or sepsis. But it was scary. And so now we're dealing with that. Well, we have our kids that we deal with. From morning until night, we was at that hospital. Our family could tell y'all we was there every single day with him. Because number one, North Carolina, they have this hospital called Cape Fear, and it is exactly how it sounds. People call it Death Valley because people could die there. A lot of people have died there, and that's one of them hospitals you really can't sue because it's like a practice hospital. We didn't know that until after the fact, but that was the only place that actually will treat sepsis. I hope I'm saying it wrong. I'm not saying it wrong. But long story short, we were there between me and my best friend every single day, morning through night. Some days we didn't even make it to work. Some days, because we had to deal with the doctors, the nurses, they were just neglectful, and my dad didn't have any say so in anything. Like he couldn't talk, he couldn't speak, he wouldn't walk. He literally they gave us 48 hours. They were like, listen, your dad got 48 hours. And then after that, we don't know what to tell you. So, we was really praying hard. I even grabbed the apostle, shout out the apostle in North Carolina. She's my favorite, Apostle Melanie Riles. And I even grabbed her and brought her so she could lay hands on him, pray, oil, like we rubbed him down. And we did that for 9 months. And after about a month, jumping too far ahead, but after about a month, I remember I will never forget the first time let me not jump that far ahead. Basically, that was at the time where I had stopped drinking, but I was still smoking. And it was in November of 2024. And I remember God, when I was praying to him, I remember God distinctly telling me, like, if you give me smoking, like you take it away and you give that to me and let me have, then I will give you your father back. And in my head, I was like, okay, I don't know. It's a big step for me because I was a smoker since I was 18 years old. So it was just kind of like an ongoing thing since I was young, like, and this is weed. But yeah, I remember him distinctly telling me, if you give that up to me, I will give you your dad back. So I was praying hard about it. And I kid y'all not, that next Sunday, one of the apostles were preaching. I cannot remember his name right now, but one of the apostles was preaching at our church, and our church is Powerful Praise Ministries. And mind you, they don't know us like that. Like they ain't never talked to us. They don't know what we was doing. Like they knew that our, father was in the hospital because our father did go to that church, but they didn't know anything else. And that was just because of word of mouth. But I kid y'all not, the apostle was like, "Hey, what's your name?" Okay, I had to take a break because when I tell you every possible distraction kept trying to stop me with this video with my phone, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, you run out of storage. How I run out of storage and I'll have storage? Okay, I see the devil do be working sometimes or all the time. Okay, so back to the story. Basically, the apostle was like, "Oh, what's your name?" I was like, "Brianna." He was like, "Oh, well, the Lord wanted me to tell you something, and that He showed me like visions of you in the hospital room with your dad, nobody there." Accurate. He was like, you were rubbing his head with holy oil. That's accurate. And you were just praying over him, and you were just asking him to come back to you. And he was like, the Lord wanted me to tell you, like, He heard your prayers, and for that, He was going to give you your dad back. Mind you, I had just stopped smoking. I gave it to God, like He asked me to. And this was the next Sunday, so whatever day of the week it was, because we was there all the time. Like the hospital, we was there from twice a day between me and Brie. So it was just like one of those things. I was trying to hold back tears in the church. It was kind of hard because I'm like, wow, that was only God can give you confirmations like that. Like that's nobody but God. You get what I'm saying? Like, how did you know I was doing that? Like, nobody's talked to him. Nobody, like, we didn't even go to church a few Sundays before that because of everything that was going on, because we're always there. So, our first Sunday back, and that was like the confirmation. And I'm super, like, that's when I knew, like, okay, God hears me. Like, and that's not even really when I knew that God really hears me. That was just more like, oh, wow, like, God, you listening or whatever. So let's fast forward. Fast forward to my hair winners. Fast forward to now, like, we're doing this every single month. Mind you, our lease is literally coming to an end, and we don't really have no clue on what to do for our next move. Our kids, they actually go to North Carolina with their dads, so we knew it was going to be kid free. We could try to figure things out, but we're like, oh, what do we do from here? Where do we go? Mind you, Georgia just kept coming up in us, so we're like, okay, we really want to go to Georgia. Should we go on our own? Should we like move in together, or should we be apart? And it was just hard. I felt like the devil was just throwing anything at us to really like throw us off things. But God was trying to tell us, like, just move in. But we didn't know that at the time. So fast forward to a couple months down, we're literally like maybe praying about it, and we get like a confirmation in January. No, it was after January because we had to move Mayish. Yeah, like Mayish of 2024, 2025. And it's literally like February. And I will never forget, people kept asking us, like our family, when y'all moving? When y'all leaving? Like, where y'all going? We didn't know. We really did not know. Every time they kept asking, we were like, we're not sure. We don't know. So, the good thing is we was just putting money away because we knew we had to get about that lease and we knew we had to leave that apartment. And we knew we didn't want to be in North Carolina. Like, North Carolina, no shade, no tea, but I didn't like it. It was terrible. Healthcare wise, what they did with my dad through like their healthcare, I would never imagine or put somebody through that. Not even my worst enemy. Like, it was terrible. Um, just like overall the experience of North Carolina, that's a video in itself. I hated it. Hated it. Highway robbery, they charge you for everything, God knows what. But okay, let's get back to the story, right? So, okay, it's like about February, March-ish. Like, it's very close to when we're supposed to be moving. So, like I said, we've been praying about it. And we visit the same church. And the same apostle is preaching. And he's just preaching about, I can't remember what he's preaching about that day because this just kind of took everything away. So he was just preaching and preaching. And then he started prophesying over everybody. And he was like, prophesying about this one person I will never forget. He was telling her about like, hey, you're having a car situation. God said he's gonna bless you. This, that, like things you see like on TV. And you're like, oh, that's not true. That's not real. I never thought it wasn't a lie. I just was like, that's just what I grew up around. People be prophesying and stuff. So, when a prophet tells you certain things, you're supposed to believe it. Just believe it. Have faith in it because it's going to happen. Right? So, I will never forget this moment. I'm sitting next to my best friend. We have our kids. And I think we were even near the front row. We don't normally sit like at the front row, but we was close today. And all of a sudden, it was like a brief silence. And he was just like, Atlanta, Georgia? When I tell you, I just was like, oh. I started crying. My best friend jumps up. She's like, oh, she started jumping and showing, girl, in the church. But I couldn't even get my thoughts together because I'm like, he just said Atlanta, Georgia. Mind you, we the only two that's like jumping for joy. So obviously he's like, okay, I'm speaking to the side, right? So he comes over to us. He's like, y'all trying to go to Atlanta, Georgia? Or, is that what was in the plans? And we was like, we've been praying about what to do. We want to go to Georgia. And that was almost like confirmation that you were speaking to us. And he was like, he started prophesying. He was like, God is showing me a very huge house for you guys. He wants to know that, this is in his plans, this is his will, like just basically confirming that we need to get out of North Carolina and go to Georgia and to be together. Because the big house, why would we have a big house separately? That's just what you mean. People who don't have the faith and the agreements may not think that way. They're like, okay, well, both of y'all will have a house. No, it was confirmation that we all need to have a house because we just raised our boys together. They love being together because, they both don't have siblings. So they are each other's siblings. So it was just confirming. So we were just like, wow, that was just confirmation. Like, we know what we're going to do. So now the hunt is to find a house. And obviously, like, we a little scared there. When I tell you everything was against us during those times, it first started with, we found a realtor. Perfect. She was, shout out to Lex because she actually sent me this realtor. Her name is Suzette, the realtor. Let me tell y'all something. She be on it and she schools you and lets you know like what you should be doing and how to go about things. But she was great. And we actually went with her. She like broke it down to us, the process. So, we a little bit like, we're not intimidated because once again, God already confirmed he had a house for us. We just had to go through the motions. And I remember going through those motions. It was like, okay, well, y'all need, at least save up about like, I think at the time she asked for like 10, 15,000. And I was like, we saving up. Who wasn't saving up that type of money? We're like, okay, yeah, all right. And then it came to, you got to pick the location. Mind you, we didn't go visit. We just was like, these are the areas that we wanted to kind of go to. But then looking at those areas, it just was like out of budget. Like even Atlanta is expensive, and but we didn't want to be near the city. So we wanted to not be near the city, not be in the country, but be in a more of a like suburb type of area. Um, Something that's just best to raise our kids in. It wasn't a lot of riffraff and like, hood boogers and stuff like that. Just crime, basically. Um, so we had like, we had our standards, and our realtor was looking like, okay, but we had that faith, we had that confirmation. This is what was going to happen. So I will never forget. So many things stood in our way. Like it first came up for credit. We got that done, succeeded that in about like a week and a half. Only but nobody but God. Nobody who sees a credit score update with it before 30 days is crazy. We literally started working on everything. I promise you not. We got to the closing table before 30 days. Who goes to a closing table before 30 days? But let me just tell y'all this. I remember they gave us a budget and they were like, listen, 375 is y'all budget, can't go before, been over that basically. And why we was looking at three different houses, all was in that 375, right? The one house in particular, that we really did like, we were like, oh, this is really cute, but gotta keep your options open. So we chose three, and they all was 375. And then something came up where they were like, oh, we punched in some numbers and stuff, and we're like, hey, we gotta put y'all at 345. Mind you, we got three houses we chose. Why one of those houses that we talking about literally price dropped to 345 exactly. Like literally the next day. I kid y'all not. Like it's going to sound like I'm lying. But that's what God's testimonies do. It be making you sound like you lying. Like, no, but I'm dead serious. It price dropped to 345 exactly. So mind you, we in North Carolina, so we had to do like a FaceTime call with our realtor. Shout out to her. So she went and she took a look at the houses. Mind you, we had three. She looked at the first one. The first one, we FaceTime. It was more of a house that they separated it into certain parts. So like it wasn't a lot. But mind you, we told her we got our sick dad, who is now starting to recover. He's still in the hospital, but we're trying to get him up out of North Carolina because of the healthcare, and we don't want him to be by himself. We got our two boys. Now, at the time, my little sister, she was going to college, and I'm trying to convince her, hey, go to college in Georgia so like it can be closer to the house. So we got our little sister, me, and Bree. So, and we got Zara, the cat. That's our baby. So we got literally 6 people, including the cat, in our house. So we were telling her like, listen, we need a house that can hold us and give us enough, room for everybody to have their own space. We're looking for, just space. We're looking for good school systems. We're looking for something that's just out the way, not close to the city, but not far from the city. Like in case we want to go out, because there's a lot to do in Atlanta. So our realtor is looking at us like, okay, but we chose those 3 houses. The one that price shot for 345 was the next house that we went to go see. When I tell you, when she even pulled up and she even went inside, she was like, no, this got to be the house. Like, this has to be our house. When I say that God is just so good. I'm sorry. Okay. She did a walkthrough. Unfortunately, I was at work. So, of course, I get a phone call while they're doing the FaceTime thing. So, best friend comes to me. She's like, we got to get this house. We got to get it. Not me. I ain't even get to see it. I'm like, I seen pictures. I'm like, yeah, the house looked good. So my excitement wasn't on her excitement type of level. I'm like, nah, we should do it. Da da da. So mind you, we got to the closing table before 30 days. That's nobody but God in itself. There was a lot of trials, tribulations. Oh, you need about 15,000. Then it dropped down to 11,000. Then it went down to 10,000, and then it went back up. So we're looking like, Like what? And right here, right here on the Bible, I promise you, somebody but God. But somehow, some way, we closed less than. It had to be like around. I think it was between like 36 and 5, something like that. It was something like extremely not even close to what we thought we would need it to close. Even even the people that we worked with was like, wow, like that was crazy how that all worked out. It worked out for y'all. God will work things out when he has your name on it. When something has your name on it, just go through with it. Have faith that it's gonna happen, because that faith of a mustard seed was all you needed. We had faith that we were just going to move into a house. We didn't know what it looked like. We didn't know how to get there. We didn't know what we needed. We just knew God was going to have our back, literally. And we prayed for it and we got it. And not only did God provide us this beautiful house, affordable, it's a beautiful house. It exceeded what we prayed for. He not only gave everybody their own space, but their own room. He gave everybody like nobody's up under each other. Our boys had to share one bedroom. They have their own space, and they have a space to go play with in a common area. They have a playroom, a game room. Nobody but God. And I'm not saying none of this to like flaunt or flex or anything like that. I'm just saying, like, when you have the faith and when you believe and when you trust, like, God is going to hear you. He hears you. And don't think that just because it didn't come in just like that same year or that same week that he's not still working on it, because he has to get you ready for it too, right? Because I tell you, our testimony was such an amazing story. Like, even I get chills just like thinking about what God has done. Not only did he help us move, there was some trials and tribulations. I'll tell y'all that. There was times where we actually thank you, Jesus, for a family friend who's literally our family at this point, y'all family now, but she literally allowed us to stay in her home because our house had to get ready. It was a bunch of different things the last owner was doing, kept delaying us. Mind you, we got to work and stuff, so our jobs were just helpful. Like, our jobs understood. No, a lot of jobs don't understand. My best friend's job literally was like, listen, you may not be able to work because we don't have anything in Georgia to help you. Maybe a few days later, they were like, hey, you know what? Just keep working. It's cool. You can stay in Georgia. Like, when I say there was things that happened, we was never out in a place, not having a place. We had our own. We were able to get somebody to help us move our stuff in that we hired for cheap. Like, I love Georgia. Georgia is reasonable and affordable. But it was just such a great testimony. Like, I get so excited just talking about it. Like, it was amazing. And of course, right on time for us to go back, and we was able to go on vacation still with family that we had planned prior to us knowing we were going to a house. Thank you, God. And able to come back because we had to go grab our kids anyway. That's why we was like, oh, let's just go on vacation, whatever. Came back and still surprise our kids with this new house. So it was just, God is so awesome. Like, when you just, that's when I knew God heard me, is like, not only just with my father's prayers, but when it came to hearing about the house, and he confirmed it for us. Like, you keep confirming it for us. And that's how I just knew God listens and he hears you. And not that, I didn't know that before, but that was just like, when it happens to you, it was like, okay, you do listen and you hear me, and you do hear me, and you're working on it. Like, our dad is here, way better healthcare. He was going into the hospital. He was in the hospital for 9 months. He used to go to the hospital, like, literally, he was in the hospital every single week back in North Carolina. So it kept delaying him to move in. But once we finally got him in, maybe like about August, he hasn't been going back to the hospital. I think he's only been back maybe twice, and it's January 2026. And that's nobody but God's blessings, a testimony in itself. I'm just forever grateful. Like, if you're ever wondering, like, how can I trust this God y'all talk about, or Jesus Christ y'all talk about, and how do I like get him to know him, or how does he give me those blessings? I pray that you just find it in your heart to be open hearted, to reach out to him, to talk to him, tell him what you need, tell him what you want to give to him. And it's gonna come with sacrifices. Like, I had to give up things that no longer even serve my purpose. Like, I don't even care that I stopped smoking. I was like, I'm done. And it's been over a year. Which is the best decision because he gave me my dad back. God is going to ask for something back, and it's like a give and take. He's not just going to keep giving, and you're not even giving him the time of day. Okay. But yeah, like, it was so good. It was so good. God is just so amazing. I just like to tell y'all that story because it was amazing. But I thank y'all for listening. And I don't know, like, I have so many testimonies. It's kind of hard to keep up with what I should be talking about next. But I mean, just come on my journey with me. I got plenty of stories, or we can just talk about stuff because that was just so good. Bye, y'all.